Welcome back to Ultimate SNS. I hope everyone's had a great week. We have the weekend coming in. So recently we just posted up a little video for everyone in our shorts. I thought it went pretty good. I love some of the comments that came in, especially the meltdown type stuff. And there's nothing I love better than a good meltdown. So here's a few of my favorites.
Shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any f***ing worse?
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere.
Now, with that said, one of the comments I thought was an interesting comment that we might talk about in just a little bit. So we're going to post that up right here, guys. Now, for people who don't think anything has changed, other than now suddenly we're going to have some student loan forgiveness, where have you been? Are you living in your parents' basement or something, or a special room above their garage, or whatever? I don't know. You must not pay for your own fuel. You must not actually be buying groceries. My grocery bill has almost quadrupled. That's insane. Within a year's period, it has almost quadrupled. We knew this was coming, though. We knew all of these things that are happening. We knew it was on its way. We're not dumb. We've been around a while. We've seen what happens when these liberal Democrats get in office, guys. We're not talking about the old Dixiecrats from back in the day that actually tried to put cap on rent and stuff like that, to keep things affordable. We're talking about this new socialist communist generation that's trying to run under that guise of being a Democrat. But I think it's important that we realize that you don't have to take my word on anything you hear up here. What you can do is you can go to whitehouse.gov and you can look at every piece of legislation that Joe Biden and any president has ever signed in when they've hit office. Now, what I think you need to do is you need to go over there right now and you need to go look and see what Joe Biden's first executive order was, which was what? To cripple the domestic fuel production in this country. So you can't tell me that he's not doing anything that's harming the country. It's right there in black and white. Now, one of the things you're going to notice when he gives speeches up there, they're actually starting to go in and edit his speeches inside whitehouse.gov. They don't have the older ones done, but the newer ones they're really trying to do. So that's something that's always fun to do, is right after you see him give a speech, you can record it, and then you can go in and you can see the translated minutes that they actually have typed up. And someone is in there fixing all his gaffes and stuff, like he's an intelligent person up there. That is illegal, actually. You cannot do that. So whoever it is that's doing that, they need to go ahead and lock them up. They need to go ahead and kick Joe Biden out of office, along with Kamala Harris. They need to go ahead and take Nancy Pelosi the heck out of there, too. See, what people don't realize is if you go and you were to actually get rid of Joe Biden right now, if you could go in, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff where they could actually get him out of office. But if they actually got him out of office, you're going to have Kamala Harris as the president. Do you really want that? Joe Biden is bad enough, but Kamala Harris, old cackling witch herself, no. And if they were to actually able to get rid of her, then you have Nancy Pelosi, who's next in line. See, people don't understand the line of succession when it comes to this country. They have set it up where we have to deal with this, because if we don't, it's going to go from bad to worse to what the is going on. And that's why they set it up this way. So while they have their puppet up there, they're doing all this legislative stuff, and they're really screwing stuff up. So you might be wondering about some of the laws that they're passing or trying to get passed, which is these ban on assault weapons and stuff like that. So one of the things you need to realize is every time a midterm election comes up and the Democrats control the House, which is what they control now, they will try to push this through. They will try to get it shoved through. It's not going to pass the Senate, but if it does pass the Senate, it's going to get overturned in the Supreme Court. Happens all the time. The reason they do it is because it saves face with their voting base, the people who hate democracy, the people who hate our Constitution. Now, you can get Biden up there and he can say that we hate democracy, we hate freedoms. That's not true. We have a country, and our leaders are supposed to run our country and cannot step outside of the constitutional outline of what our country is supposed to be. See, that is a rule for the leaders, what they can and cannot do. It's kind of like the Ten Commandments for us believers, guys. But they're not supposed to be able to overturn anything with firearms. You're not supposed to be able to infringe upon that right at all. They're not supposed to be able to infringe upon freedom of speech either. You see several things happening, that the breakdown of the media, where they are now basically just puppets for the administrations that are in office. Whatever power it be is paying them up, That's who they're going for. So we need to be aware of what's happening in our country because we're not getting true news. You could go look it up yourself, but like I said, they're already changing the minutes of what this guy is bibbling and babbling up there. So at least it kind of sort of makes sense. They're just basically taking what was put on the teleprompter and they're putting that down on minutes. And it's all black and white data stuff. They're not having the videos up there where if he's supposed to say, one thing, but he ends up babbling and walking off stage saying something else. Doesn't matter what he's doing up there because history is going to show that it was actually whatever was put on the teleprompter. That's where we're at in society today. That's where we're at. It's kind of interesting because a lot of the similar type of mentalities that are happening in the world today was going on back before World War II with Nazi Germany. And we're seeing a lot of that happen. Now, they like to try and say that conservatives are Nazis because we believe in freedoms and because we believe in the Constitution. But that's not true. When you want to infringe upon everybody's rights to push your sinful secular agendas that gives basically the elite the power to decide what you can and cannot do, you no longer have a free country. But see, here's the thing, that it does not matter what they do up there because we have a freedom given to us from God. That is what the Constitution is, guys. It says we have inalienable God-given rights. And we need to realize that there is no person on this planet that can tell you that you have to or you can't. They cannot tell you that you cannot serve God. They cannot tell you that you cannot own a firearm. They can try to, and it's up to you whether or not you accept that agenda. See, everyone is coming to a point where they're going to have to make a stand here before too long because our freedom of religion is under attack. Now, I'm not talking about freedom of religion to worship any false god. You won't. They love that. They don't want you to worship God Almighty. That's the agenda. That's where everything's pushing down to. They're going to make it so that they're classifying conservatives, which is basically where most of your believers are going to be. Your true believers are in that group. They're trying to classify it down to where you are an extremist. That's what Joe Biden said up in his little red freaking, that was one of the weirdest presidential speeches I've seen in my life, where they had all the red background and he's up there like Hitler, basically. Yeah, that's what it was reminiscent of. But basically, he's calling us extremists. Even his press secretary went further to call us, or to compare us to Al Qaeda. That's insane, guys. We're talking about a hate group that is killing a lot of people. Now, who is it that we're actually seeing in the streets harming folks, killing people, burning cities down? It's not the conservatives. It is the liberals. That is your group that needs to be focused in on. But see, the FBI has become politicized, so whatever they get told to do by their handlers is what we're looking at now. That's what they're going to do. So not only that, the IRS is falling in that same suit. So I expect most of us, we're going to really have an interesting tax season with all of the extra people that's being put into the IRS and all the extra tax codes being thrown in there. That's going to hammer and target in on conservatives, especially if you're in a conservative group of some sort and you're contributing to those types of campaigns. You're going to see a lot of blowback on that this next tax season, guys. But now we're going to post up those comments for you guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. We're going to get off here.